Welcome to Damaging Ignorance, a show with Professor Matahingunyi. Damaging ignorance is important because whoever controls your language of discourse controls your reality. Every story has two sides to it. On this show, we challenge the dominant discourse of the week. We challenge the dominant discourse not because our side is right, but because the other side is wrong. We offer you the actual position of things, and we are rarely wrong. And even if we are wrong, it is because we do not choose to be right. We must damage ignorance. and the first principality of ignorance that we have to damage has to do with Kikuyus and BBI. Right? The dominant belief is that BBI will kill tyranny of numbers. That is what we have been led to believe this week. Is that the case?
One, you can never buy a Kikuyu. Never. And we want to send that to William Ruto.
Yeah.
You can only rent a Kikuyu. You cannot buy a Kikuyu MP. You can only rent one. Once you are done with renting these Kikuyus, a guy with a little bit more money will come in and they will rent them
themselves.
Yes. So they are deluding William Ruto, in my view. Number two, tyranny of numbers was only useful to the emanation so long as there was a Kikuyu running for president. But now there is no Kikuyu running for president. Tyranny of numbers is nothing but dead capital. So if BBI has killed it, we should say yes, let BBI kill it. But I want to add something else here. That we have been told that BBI is bad because it is not good. But the question is, we have not even seen this report.
Absolutely.
So we don't know what BBI is. So this Kikuyu MP is saying BBI is bad because it is not good, are simply exchanging ignorance. And these are the principalities of
lies
and ignorance that we want to completely damage.
But let me ask. Let me put it this way.
Yes.
If it quacks like a duck, if it walks like a duck, it is a duck.
Yes.
And for all these many months that the BBI team has gone around collecting views from the country, we have been told in no uncertain terms by the political elite and stakeholders that they want to move to a parliamentary system of government.
Yes.
So let me just play devil's advocate. Come 2022 and we have a parliamentary system of government that does not reflect some sort of proportionality with the ground. Won't that be unjust to the big communities in this country?
The only time changes happened in this country, and you want to invite William Ruto again to study history. Only time changes happened in this country. It has happened because the Luo nation and the Yama nation have come together. It happened at independence. It happened during Yawezekana in 2002, and it is happening now. So, if Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga say it's going to be a parliamentary system, it will happen.
It will happen.
And I have told you guys, you say you will not vote. It is all right. Don't bother voting. If I vote, turnout is going to be very low.
Very low.
But what will happen is that there will be a lot of political engineering happening. And so long as you have provincial administration present, from Nairobi to the lowest local, and then you have low voter turnout.
Absolutely.
Referendum will pass.
Yes.
It will pass not because you voted. It will pass because
someone else.
And then the good thing is that Raila will not be there to say fungua sawa. So if they have to rig it, they will rig it, and Raila will not be there to say open service. So there will be no hula baloo. And then Maraga, by the time the referendum is done, will have retired. So you see, this is fait accompli.
Absolutely.
The die has been cast, and I think Ruto is well advised to get on with the program.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You see also, Uhuru Kenyatta leaving office,
Yeah.
2022,
Yes.
if he will leave,
Yes.
you know what that marks? It says the 15 years of Jomo, the 10 years of Mwai Kibaki,
Yes.
and the 10 years of Uhuru
Uhuru
Kenyatta,
Kenyatta.
35 years of our total independence. Kikuyus don't know how not to be in government.
Absolutely.
So if BBI presents them with an option of being in government one way or the other, and
yes.
secures perpetually and secures our position,
Yes.
because and why perpetually? It's also because 24 years of Arap Moi really fingered these Kikuyu, especially the businessmen.
The capital went dived down.
It dived
Yeah.
completely. So if you offer them an option
Yes.
and say, hey, you Kikuyu people,
Yeah.
we know you have been rented by Ruto,
Yeah.
but you've been bought.
Yeah.
Or you've been rented and he thinks he has bought you.
He's bought you, precisely.
Yeah.
Now we want to give you a better deal.
Yeah.
They will jump ship.
So what you're saying then is that the Gema leaders are misreading the times. The game is changing, and this could perhaps be something that secures their longevity in power, but they're not appreciating, the value of it.
Uhuru Kenyatta, and you were talking about that earlier.
Yes.
Uhuru Kenyatta is addressing a group of people whose brains are binary.
Two-dimensional.
Two-dimensional. They only see black and white.
Yes.
But Uhuru Kenyatta is inviting them to not only see black and white, but to see all the colors of the rainbow.
Yes.
And then when you collage all those colors,
Yeah.
you see a colored picture.
Yeah.
And he's saying, don't look at two-dimensional, look at six-dimensional.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why, if he is looking at things in a six-dimensional way,
Yes.
but the Kikuyu peasants and their leaders are looking at things in black and white. That's why they're angry. They're angry because they do not understand this entire spectrum of the rainbow.
Absolutely.
How many colors are there in the rainbow?
I
think
seven.
About seven of them.
Colors, yes.
So if you're not seeing all of these colors,
Yeah.
that's why they're angry. They're
Yes.
saying that this man has abandoned us and all that stuff. Yet, somehow, a point will reach, and I think the leaders and the peoples of the Kikuyus, you'll be surprised by what he pulls,
But we will see the light.
Yeah, but Prophet, I want to be devil's advocate.
And the light actually is made out of the seven spectrums.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
That is right.
Yes.
That is right.
So these guys are just prancing around in the darkness, and what they're seeing are shadows. Shadows are actually binary.
They are.
I want to be devil's advocate. Are we saying that William Ruto will sit down and see the promise of 2022 taken away from him, and he'll do nothing about it?
Even if he does something about it, there's something will amount to nothing. That really is the point that we're making. And that is the reason why it is good to read the signs of the times. And even the Bible counsels us to do that.
Yes. Yeah.
In the book of Lamentations. Is it Lamentations or I think it's Lamentations. It says there's a time, Lamentations 22 or 23. There's a time for everything.
Yes.
A time for throwing stones and a
Yes.
time for gathering stones.
Yes.
And Raila has learned that.
He has learned. Oh, that for sure he has learned. That is his forte, reading the times.
I don't think people will get that.
There's multiple ways we could look at that. But our second principality of ignorance that we have to damage has to do with the state of the economy.
Yeah.
Right? This week we have had lots of pessimistic headlines, for example, from the dailies and conversations on Twitter. Are we headed for an economic recession?
Once again, we have to go back to the binary thinking of not only Kikuyus, but of Kenyans. Kenyans see things in black and white. But we're inviting them to see things using the entire spectrum of the rainbow, the seven colors, because that is what we call light. It's always defined as light.
Yeah.
I want to posit a hypothesis that maybe what we are seeing as economic recession can be described purely as a transition.
Yes.
But what we are not seeing is a transformation at the end of things.
Yes.
And Jeremy, you're the one who constantly talk you talk about, is it Bismarck?
Yes.
What?
Otto von Bismarck.
Yeah.
He's one of the founding fathers of the German state.
Yes.
You know, Germany was not always what it was today.
Yes.
It was, very many states that were put together.
He's the one who drove the unification of Germany, in 1870, 1871.
Precisely.
Yes.
Yeah. And he says that making laws, and by extension making the state, is like making sausages.
Yes.
You would rather see it not being done. You love sausages, you love mutura, but you don't want to see how mutura is made.
Yes.
Because if you do,
you will
never eat it. But it's an untidy process. It's full of contradictions. It's full of, very nasty stuff.
Now, when Kenyans are talking about the economic dip, what they are doing is that what they have been shown is the making of mutura, making of sausages, and they have not been shown yet how the mutura and the sausages taste. If you go to Kiamaiko in Nairobi, they make mutura, and you saw it, and it's done next to a sewer place. And you have flies flowing from wherever. If a fly drops in the blood as you're mixing it, and you don't see it,
it becomes part of the sausage.
Absolutely. And when you eat it, it's very sumptuous. But now, if you describe the mutura itself, what you're describing is process. What you're describing is a transition.
Yes, absolutely.
But not the end product. And I think the economic crisis we are saying we are experiencing now, we're only describing a process to a good end and a better end, a transformational end down the road, an end which we have not been shown yet. And I think government will do well to show us that end.
But let me ask before you give your thoughts, Kevin. The skeptics out there who this week have been talking about Kenya is over leveraged. We are our debt to GDP ratio is now 54%. The government wants to raise it to 9 trillion shillings. To do infrastructure projects. There are people saying, shouldn't we put our money into connecting rural Kenya with, urban Kenya? What's your take on that?
You see, and then you remember we have done incursions in a number of African countries lately.
Absolutely.
We'll talk about what we were told in Tanzania. But on that question you just raised, all Kenyans are analysts. And I get so offended as a political scientist when I hear some Kenyan who is and has absolutely no competence in breaking down political processes, being a talking head on television. And all Kenyans are also economists. But this is a good thing is that you're a lawyer but converting into a political economist, political economist as well. So you have the authority to speak on economic matters. But our guys, when they do analysis, especially the pedestrian ones, they use what we call household economics. Now, if you use household economics models to analyze very complex 6D, six-dimensional things with 7 rays of spectrum of light, goodness, you will end up telling us countries collapsing.
Absolutely.
What we are saying here to end is that the big infrastructure projects that Uhuru is building, he's not the only one doing it.
Absolutely.
You remember we saw the Magufuli SGR. And it was flying over
Dar es Salaam.
And so what Uhuru is basically doing is that I think it's a move. It's some kind of a movement around this region. That's economic in nature and is responding to the
systemic shifts
around the region.
And you know the SGR from Dar es Salaam, do you know how long it is, the Tanzanian SGR? It's 184 kilometers. It is from Nairobi to Nanyuki, basically. Right? Now, Kenyans out there are blaming Uhuru from doing an SGR from Mombasa all the way to Kampala. I think the 2D dimension description is very fitting.
The reason why we are complaining about SGR and stuff. Again. Is because we are seeing things in black and white.
white.
But if Kenyans can be invited to look at things through the entire spectrum of the rainbow,
Yes.
different colors,
Yes.
we probably might have a different
Perspective.
And Prof, there's a rendition that you had about last week. One of the newspapers gave they bashed the government. They bashed the Ministry of Transport for railway to nowhere. For inflated cost of kilometers. But you had a good rendition on how to actually break down the state of things in terms of how the kilometers we have built, how that is broken down to the cost per kilometer.
Part of what we said last week, I think is the young scholars here who say this, that there is a difference between house niggers and field niggers. That's Malcolm X who taught us that. A house nigger is a maker of things, a revolutionary. They're the people who liberated the slaves in the US. The story of Kunta Kinte, or whatever that guy was, the field nigger working in the port. But a house nigger is a guy whom the French would call an assimilado. You come into the house, you're taught the ways of the Muzungus, but fundamentally they wash your head, and they force you to hate your mother, to hate your country, and think the mother on the other side is better than yours. Now, we called, I was away when you guys did it. You called the paper that talked about that story, you called it a paper driven by house niggers. And the point there, actually, those editors are house niggers. We want to haters of countries, haters of their mothers, and haters of anything good about country. And they are also both ignorant and evil. So see, for instance, the example that we got was that if you say that we've done 13 kilometers of road, and the 13 kilometers have costed us 1 billion per kilometer, so 13 billion, and you put it in your headline without going into the actual details, you're misleading the country, because 13 kilometers costing 1 billion is two-way. One going this way, one coming this way. But if you have 13 kilometers with not 2 lines but 4 lines on one side, like Thika Highway, and 4 lines on the other side. Basically, what you're saying is that you have 8 lines, and 8 lines are actually equal to like 4. So what you're saying here is that if 1 billion was used to construct 1 kilometer, effectively you're saying that 1 billion was used to construct 4 kilometers. Because 4 lanes that way and 4 lanes this way. But because the media is both lazy and evil, or we don't know what it is, and it is, our media is also driven by house niggers who have been taught to hate their mothers.
That's the rendition they give us, a very pessimistic one.
They gave us very pessimistic, but we wanted to correct it by saying that check your figures. Before you manufacture anger, and before you cause a countryman to hate their mothers and hate country, check out your figures.
And so the third principality of ignorance that we have to damage is about revolution. We've also been told that a revolution is at hand. Are we headed for a revolution? Is that the case?
Revolutions, revolutions come in small installments. They come little by little. You never see them coming. You never see them coming. They are never announced through Twitter. They're never announced through newspapers, through Facebook, through some some activists. Or actually, they were known as sophists in Greek mythology. People who stood on streets and pontificated over the things that are coming. You never see them coming. But when they come, they go kaboom. You're talking about the guy who lit himself up. Before he lit himself up, the revolution had already happened. So by the time he's lighting himself up, he was just a trigger. Now, these guys telling us revolution is coming, they're hit by revolution on the head.
Yes.
They would not even recognize it. But also, I am of the view that revolution is actually here with us.
Yes.
But it is not the revolution they think
Yes.
is happening. And when it hits us on the head, we'll be so surprised that actually it was here all along. We never saw it. And that revolution is probably with BBI.
Yes.
Could be part of the infrastructure.
Absolutely.
And we are yet to see, when it hits us, everybody will be, these activists will all be
Amazed at that, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen.
But do you think revolution?
No, I don't think a revolution is coming. I don't think we're anywhere near a revolution.
Do you desire revolution?
No.
Do you desire
I
young
don't.
people are meant to desire revolution?
No,
Absolutely
I desire revolution, but an economic one, and I know one is coming.
I'm a conservative. I desire reforms.
I know one is
Reforms.
coming. when I see Lamu coming, when I see SGR doing its rounds, when I do the small little roads, Dongokundu and everything,
You got it.
I see it.
You're describing revolution to me earlier today. No reform. When you're telling me about Dongokundu.
Yes. You know the Dongokundu Phase 2 project,
Phase 2.
which is really going to transform that part of Kenya.
And so that part of the road is going to be suspended on pillars that will go below sea level. How many meters?
50 meters.
50 meters. Deep
We
into
were
the
unable
ground.
to extract the car that had gone into
60
that.
meters.
And we're going to go below there
50
and
meters.
dig.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So
Those are the grand plans for this country, and as you are correctly pointing out, going by those standards, that is a revolution.
you will see
Happening.
when we take a picture of it. Once it's done, 10 to 15 years from now, we will not say Uhuru. We will not castigate Uhuru. We will say this man knew exactly what he was doing.
Absolutely.
And it is because a man was using
6 dimension.
the 6th dimension, but he was using all the colors of the rainbow.
Yes.
And you Africans of Kenyan origin, you are seeing things in black and white.
Black and white. And black and white. Leaders see through their beliefs.
Yes.
Not through their eyes.
Absolutely.
Right?
And we want to encourage Uhuru Kenyatta to do that.
Yeah.
And even William Ruto to see things through his beliefs and not through his eyes. And if William Ruto follows his beliefs, I believe he will change strategy. Because right now he's seeing through his eyes. He can make a great leader for this country at some point, but he must not sleep through the revolution. Because the revolution is happening in small installments. And I say that because the biggest revolutionary in this country is none other than Tingaman. Baba Man he's a maker of revolutions. And when Baba Man goes completely quiet, he's gone underground.
He's up to no good.
He's making great.
It is our hope that we have damaged some ignorance. We also hope that we have exposed the owners of the Ignorance Project. Things are not as bad as they seem.